Everyone, from me, Brent Graham of goodforthegame.co.za. If I look like I've got a few more grey hairs than the last time I saw you, I can tell you I have. This laptop's given me an absolute nightmare this week. Crashed last night as we did the show. Been working on it. Took ages to get it up and running, but been working on it all day. Hasn't been a problem. The moment we're about to go live, the thing crashed. I've quickly run and booted up my wife's laptop. I must be honest, she doesn't know about this at this point, but we're going to carry on. I've got one man in the studio. Of course, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning for Nathan. Him and Gavin were both in the studio ready to go last night. Big disappointment. They had a good chat, though. And Gavin, the Oracle, how are you, mate?
Very good, thank you, Brent. All good. I've told you many times, get a new computer and get a new phone.
Yeah. Look, but I just didn't have a time between last night and and today, unfortunately. But I hear you. The new computer's definitely coming. My phone's not too bad, actually. I was in on my phone. It's just I didn't have my emails linked up there. But welcome to Blake joining us live. I see we've already got quite a few live viewers as well. And Gav, plenty of rugby to talk about. Obviously, you and I are not going to talk about MPC as we would have if Nathan had been here. But we are definitely going to talk rugby championship. And we've got two big games. The action will be over by about 11:30 tomorrow because we've got the Australian game pretty early. And then we got the New Zealand-South Africa game, of course, the big one at Eden Park. Talk to me first on the outright betting. I think New Zealand, I know they're in the red. South Africa, not too bad. You got about 7-1 Australia and 24-1 Argentina. Are you tempted by the 24-1 at all?
Yes.
Short and sweet.
Yes, I think that's a very big price about a team that can win. What's South Africa's price?
I'll have a look now. I'm just on another. I had it already on my other computer, but I'll have a look now. But let's just we'll come back to that. I think South Africa probably. Well, let me rather not guess. Some of these lines might be a bit out because I set the show up and I was busy trying to get it sorted out when the thing went down. But tomorrow morning it's a day game in Australia. Australia minus 5.5 against Argentina. And we've got a points line here, Gav, of 55.5.
Yeah, I'm a Argentina board punter here, Brent. I think, you can take the outright 24-1, that's value. But I do think that Argentina coming into this game, this handicap range in the past has been biggest handicap we've seen. Sorry, I just want to apologize. My front door faces northwest at this point, so the sun is coming through the glass on both sides and the top. Sorry about the glare.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course, different time of day.
Yes. For me, Argentina, a bad Argentina will come here at plus 12, plus 11. I think this handicap's probably well set. It just does offer a little bit of value for Argentina. I don't think there's much value for Australia. Had Australia won the game 2 weeks ago in South Africa, Australia would have been minus 10 or 11. And they probably would have been a bit of value. But for me, I like Argentina here. They've won in Australia more than once. And they're coming off the biggest high of all of the four teams. They're probably the most confident going into this weekend. So I like them. If you're a bit scared, take the plus 5.5 or plus 4.5, which I think is probably more available at the moment. But 15 or 16 or 10, you should get them to win the game. And I like them. I think it's value.
Right, I can tell you that JJ Bowers joined us. Stefan Jabir and Blake says points over 55.5. Now, Blake, I know that is. Thanks for the reminder. I'll also switch my cell phone off there. Was that your alarm to wake you up, Gav, or was that a call?
No, that's a customer looking for some action. So I'm going to have to call them after the show.
No,
they don't know that I'm in retirement phase 1 and I stopped working at 12 o'clock.
You don't take calls on a Friday afternoon. So, Blake, I like the points as well. I see Southpaw went for the points. Welcome to Verna also joining us in the chat there. And then, guys, I'm going to bring up the next game, which, of course, is the big one to talk about. I'm going to change this handicap quickly before I bring it up. I've basically seen, I think it's basically 5.5 is the cap that I've seen. I know Bet Exchange had South Africa minus 3.5, or could have been PokerBet. I forget which one. New Zealand minus 5.5 South Africa, and we've got a points line here, Gavin, of 48.5 in Eden Park.
I think South Africa should be favourite, Brent. I think we're going into this game in this fixture in much better shape. I think that game, in fact, I don't think. That game, Argentina beating New Zealand, as much as I've mentioned that Argentina on a high, this is the worst position New Zealand have been in going into a game against us. They've just lost to Argentina. They've got to defend a 50-game, 31-year-old record that's been sitting. And they're playing against us going in 0-4 in the last 4 games. Russia's got their number. We've never started favourite in New Zealand. And as much as I'm telling you that South Africa should be favourite, they're never going to be favourite until they've won 8 in a row and they're playing somewhere else other than Eden Park. So, yes, the whole world will expect this to look right. But for me, the values with South Africa gain board. I'm not going to bother with a +4, +5.5. I think 15-10 or even 14-10 for that matter, South Africa to win this game on the board is a lot of value. I just think the kicking game, Pollard, they're putting Pollard in here. Yeah, you know what, Devon, I've been a fan of this bet in the past, but I'm going to tell you, there's more danger South Africa winning this game by more than a try. I'm not suggesting they're going to win by 20, but I think South Africa win this game by between 7 and 12. I just think that they're going to win this game. I think we are in the right place and it feels right. And we've got to, if our loss to Australia was the last game we played, that 22 and 60, whatever it was, 22, I'd be singing a different tune. We fixed Australia. We came back. We beat them. We're going into this with no pressure. We're not the favourites on the bookmakers' sheets. Excuse me. I think New Zealand have got a lot of pressure. They have a lot of injuries. I've watched a lot of these shows. I've listened to Justin Marshall and Mills Muliaina and all of these guys. I've watched a few of these. Even watched the Egg Chaser chap. He speaks a lot about players, and I don't know all of them. I'm a South African punter this week. I really am. I think it's value, and Argentina I think it's value. I'm not doubling them. I did take a very small double 50 rand, but my money's on most of my money's on the South African game and a little bit on Argentina to win on the board.
Right, I saw a couple of comments there. Devon, he likes the unders. I also do. I think even at 48.5, I'm looking unders. Had a quick look at the weather. I don't know if anyone in the live chat can maybe give an update. Looked like there might be a few showers perhaps before the game, and I'm also expecting this to be almost World Cup final intensity. So I also quite like that 1 to 7 what is that 16 to 10 that he pointed out there. Auburn coming in and just saying, how's it, gents? We're off. Auburn, yes, I did. I managed to catch some of the live comments last night. I know you were one of the patient ones who was waiting around for about half an hour. I actually wished I'd at least started the show because then I was actually listening to you and Nathan just having a chat. The guys could have at least been listening to that. But anyway, it wasn't to be. Gav, quick one. What are you doing for the rugby? It's a 9 o'clock kickoff. Surely too early for your first beer.
No. I'm watching. My wife's going out for lunch with one of her mates. She said, am I going to have FOMO? I said, no. I'm watching rugby and I'll do a little bit of work after that. But, yeah, and then it's obviously a stretch till 3 o'clock till the first Currie Cup game. So, yeah, I'm watching rugby tomorrow. I'm getting up early. Interestingly, a lot of the restaurants are my customers. A lot of restaurants in Cape Town are my customers. And I asked them this week, I was asking everyone, apparently, they can't serve beer before 11 o'clock in Cape Town. I didn't know that. So
I did not know that either. No.
A lot of them are only opening at 8:30. Excuse me. So it's not good for them. Not good business because I know when I was at Hollywood, especially those boxing fights early on Sunday morning, we used to open at 4, 5 o'clock. The Oaks could have a beer if they wanted to. So, yeah, I'm watching at home. I'm not going out. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm expecting to win both bets.
There's another interesting one from Blake.
Just to answer your question on the rain, I don't think the rain's going to. I don't think the rain's going to affect South Africa. Well,
it affects points. I think Gavin,
for 15 minutes. That's unbelievable.
Phone lost more about the points that get affected in the rain. The type of game
yes,
that we get.
Course,
I agree
the
with
points will be affected. I don't think it's going to dampen South Africa's chance of winning.
Okay, no, 100%. Let me bring up the first Currie Cup game. The nice thing is, Gav, about doing the show late, well, we would have had one handicap last night. We've actually got 4 to talk on. And I'm going to bring up the first one as well as the total points line. This game taking place in Pretoria tonight. And we got, let me just widen my screen here. Sharks -4.5.
In Pretoria?
Pumas. Sorry, in Durban. Sorry, I am losing it. And One thing I want to ask you, can I rely on you to talk for more than 30 seconds so I can quickly nip out and fetch something? I don't know if you can handle that.
Yes, you told me I wasn't to be finished by.
But I need you to talk because I left my
24.
beer down where my other computer was. I need to grab that.
Go get your beer. Yes, of course. Okay, so in this game, again, I think they got the wrong favourite here. You know, Sharks beat the Cheetahs. No, they didn't. Well, it was close. It was a 20-point handicap. And Sharks beat Boland last week. I mean, I got everything right except the Boland game. And I was puzzled with that. And Brent, I mean, I had a bet with Brent and he beat me on that. So I don't know. There's nothing. I've not got anything from the Sharks. The fact that they played that game in Maritzburg, 800 meters above sea level, I think they had a bit of advantage on that, although they don't really play there that often. I just like the Pumas here. I think the Pumas win this game, and I think they win it comfortably. I think they win it by more than 10. I think this handicap's it's the wrong way around. It should be -4, -5 Pumas. I don't know. I like Pumas here. Again, not bothering with the handicap board for me. Again, 15, 16 to 10. 3 16 to 10s, that's 20 to 6. Geez, that's like 15, 17 to 1 if you take all three boards here for tonight and tomorrow morning. I can't be back in that Sharks team. I think they were very lucky against Poland, and I don't know how they kept it close with the Cheetahs.
Right, yeah, interesting. So I didn't hear all of what you said. Obviously, what the big news is, Gav, I know you don't watch teams too much, but a lot of URC players back in some of the teams this week, including the Sharks. But I'm with you. I like Pumas on the board. A couple of reasons. One, Pumas are hungry. I mean, ultimately, they're still in the Currie Cup. The Sharks are not. The Sharks players that are coming in, yes, they're very good players. But at the end of the day, sorry, I'm just moving my screen. You might see me looking sideways a bit more because I seem to have somehow lost half the bloom, and it's not my day today.
Well, Brent, I'm not worried about the URC players, and I'll tell you why. Because this is their first get onto the field in quite a while. So, in fact, you might remember that going back a long time ago when the 2010 Currie Cup, Sharks played the Cheetahs in that semi-final, and then they went to Joburg, and they brought on all of their stars. And they didn't win that game. They got thumped. They got beaten by 20 to the Lions because there was no change. These players have not been used to playing with each other. I'm going to say bringing URC players in for the final game is actually a hindrance and not a benefit.
Yeah, so that was one of my points, is like, how battle-hardened are these guys? I mean, they're training for something that starts in a couple of weeks' time with the guys, the Pumas guys are there, plus the Pumas hunger. So I do see the Sharks putting in maybe a strong first half. And so what I've done is two things here. I've gone for the Pumas. I've backed them at 18 to 10 at Bet Exchange. There's another bet I quite like here, and that's Sharks to lead at halftime, Pumas to come back and win. I mean, remember that game against Western Province last week? The Pumas stormed back to win that match. And that is 8.8 to 1, which I thought it was quite a tasty little price. Those aren't the sort of bets you can go wild on because, you know, there's nothing worse than backing the halftime, full-time, and they lead from pillar to post. But my main bet, the 18 to 10 Pumas to win, and I like the halftime, full-time a little bit. So, yeah, it looks like you and I are quite aligned on that.
Brent, there's one other point to make here, and I believe this. I'm a believer of this. These guys are coming into this game, and they want to get a bit of game fitness in, and they will not want to get injured a couple of weeks before they are actually going to be playing in the rugby that they're being paid to play. I don't know. I just can't see the intensity being 100%, which is what that would be in game one when they start the URC. So I think this is a hindrance to them. I think Pumas are more likely to win than they would have been had they played the normal Sharks team. I don't know. That's how I think, and I believe it. I believe myself here.
No, that's fine. I'm with you there. As I say, in agreement. I just had to bring up another page. I just want to check the betting on the next games because obviously last night when I was putting the show together, we didn't actually have betting on the next two. We've now got handicaps. I didn't even bother comparing them to my handicaps because obviously I hadn't taken the URC into account, and just my luck, Bet Exchange are not up. So we'll get maybe guys, if one of the guys in the live chat can maybe mention what handicap we've got. I'm just going to bring the game up. Second game is, come on, I've got all the NPCs there. Western Province v Boerland. So, Gav, there is a cap for this. I can tell you from memory, Western Province -7.5 in this game. They've obviously named URC players in the team. Does your logic still apply to the Boerland?
It does, and Boland lost that game last week. That's going to irritate them. It's not going to hurt them. It's going to irritate them because they had it. They had it in their hands. It was in their control. Again, Boland on the board. I've followed Boland the whole season. I lost last week. I was irritated. So I'm feeling like a Boland player here, and that just pissed me off. I'm going into this game and I'm winning this game because, again, they're in control here. The team above them is going to lose. So I'm expecting the Lions to beat this Griquas team. So Boland just need to win here and they go top of the log and they got their home semi-final and final, which I'd predicted. So, yeah, I'm a Boland board punter here.
Boland board punter. Well, let's bring up the next game for you to talk on in the meantime. First of all, it's Western Province. Then it's Griquas. Lions are minus 12.5 against Griquas. Obviously, that tells you as well that the Lions have named. Yeah. I'm not
20.
quite as confident.
They won by 20 plus.
I'm thinking a bet you, Gav. How much do you owe me at the moment?
1,000.
1,000. Should we roll it all onto this game?
You want to go plus here?
I'll go the plus. Or should we just take a 500? I'll give you a chance to make your money back slowly.
We'll do 13 Tano bet.
We can do 12 Tano bet. I'm giving you the point.
12. Happy. All right, happy.
12 Tano bet. What do you want on?
500's fine. Lions will, for me, Lions 20 plus. They'll win comfortably here.
I think Griquas, to me, same sort of logic applies to the Pumas. Look, Griquas, they're almost there in terms of qualification, but obviously the Lions, it's a very interesting situation. We've got 5 teams playing.
Yeah, and this is the most competitive of them. This game is the most competitive. The last 2 are half dead rubbers. This one's the full rubber. In fact, this is the only game on the 4 that's a full game.
Yeah, it is. And what's interesting, I had a quick look at the outright betting at at Sporting Bet. Lions 8-11 favourites. Griquas 5-1. Boland actually shorter than Griquas, which I thought was pretty strange at 9-2, because the Griquas, a bonus point should see them through pretty much. I think that'll get them.
Yes, the reason why Boland are shorter, Brent, is because they are more likely to win the game than the Griquas are. That's really just simple maths.
But think about it this way. I disagree with you there in the sense, because it's not like they're favourites to win the game. They're plus 7.5 against WP.
Yeah.
So they're 2 points behind Griquas still as well. I don't know. Yeah, you might be right, but I'm a little bit surprised. I would have had Griquas. I make Griquas favourites to win the tournament, and I think they win this game. And yeah, I think I think you and I meet in Kimberley in a couple of weeks.
The price to win this game determines the outright price, because if Boland do win, Griquas have a much bigger price of winning. Their probability is lower of winning this game than Boland's is. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough.
So yes, there's value. If you believe what Brent's saying and you like the Griquas to win on the board here, then yes, their price to win the tournament is juicy. Of course it is. It's value.
Right, let's have a look.
People got Boland at 50 and 66 to 1, and people got Griquas at 25 and 28 to 1. So if you grab those prices, you're not in any trouble.
Yeah. And no, I mean, I agree with you. And Boland, I mean, aside from last week where they really should have won that game and had the top spot, if you want to call it, in their hands. But what I was saying about the log is actually very interesting. You've got 5 teams, and any one of those 5 teams could, in theory, still miss the playoffs, mathematically. Yes. Even Griquas could, in theory, miss the playoffs. The Lions could miss the playoffs, but they could top the log. If Boland lose and the Lions win with a bonus point over Griquas. So it's a fascinating, we've got a fascinating little run in here at the moment.
It is. It's amazing that 5 teams out of 8 are still in it on a 7-game log. It is. It's very good.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, it is a short season, so that probably helped a little bit. But let's go to the last game, Gav. Bulls minus 9.5 against Cheetahs. Bulls have put URC players in. But once again, I look at this and I go, who's the hungrier? It's got to be the Cheetahs. The Cheetahs will know what they have to do going into this game. And there's a very good chance that there's a semi-final spot up for grabs. In fact, I think no matter what, there will be an option of a semi-final spot up for grabs for the Cheetahs.
Yeah, this game is a very small bet for me, and it's Cheetahs on the board as well. I'm not going to bother with a plus. I'll have a small bet on Cheetahs to win the game. Again, at 9, you're probably looking at 7-2, 33-10, 7-2 to win the game. That's big enough for me.
Right. That's the Currie Cup.
I'm not going to say they got the wrong favourite, because as you've mentioned, they've put a whole lot of URC players in, but the same thing applies to the Sharks game and the Province game, putting all these players in. I don't think it's a benefit, especially for the Bulls. They're just going to run around. No one wants to get injured. Cheetahs have got something to play for. Go for the Cheetahs. Go for any team this week that's got something to play for.
Yeah, I like that as well, Gavin. We're aligned on most games, except, of course, the Griquas Lions. Join the battle against the bookmakers. I need to replace this with a new Good for the Game logo. The site relaunched this week, in particular the forum. So if you haven't gone over there, go there. If you were a forum member, you will need to re-register on the Good for the Game forum. But we did a much-needed upgrade there. You can do avatars and all of that sort of stuff again. We were running on something almost as old as my, I shouldn't say it, but as old as my laptop there. Let's just, I want to bring, the reason I bring in the slides up though, is I've got the betting here, which I grabbed just before the show. I've got the World Cup women's betting here, Gav. And should we get straight into that? Very few non-dead rubbers in this particular case. Quite a few battles for top spot, but you'll see the betting, they're unlikely to be terribly close. First game, Canada up against Scotland. This is for top spot in the group. Both of them are through to the quarters. And you got minus 28.5. Canada, points line of 52.5.
Canada minus, that Scottish team was very poor the other day.
What against Fiji?
Yeah. I'm a Canada minus punter here, but again, I'm not big here. I will tell you though, I like South Africa at plus 24.5. I think that's very big. I think it's big. Would I be backing them at 8-1 to win the game? Can they win the game? I don't think they can win the game, but I think it's close.
So does that mean you don't want to run through the rest of the games? Or
no, I'm just looking at them.
Okay.
Well, what's fascinating here, Brent, is the lowest handicap is 51. I mean, that's crazy.
Oh, you mean the lowest handicap is 51? So am I with you there?
What is it? Oh, that's points on the right. Sorry. That's points on the right. Correct. Sorry. My apologies.
Oh, let me run you through them because I know it's not that easy to see there. Okay, so we've got next game. The next game is a bet that I like.
I just want to point out something. I like Canada at minus 52. I definitely like them at minus 28. I was happy at 52.
Of course, you were looking at that. Oh, brilliant. Yes, okay, good. Okay, so you definitely like the minus 28. The next game, I've got quite a firm fancy on this one. I posted it in the Women's World Cup Rugby blog. USA minus 57.5.
Yeah, I agree.
So just to give you US, this is one of the few things where the second spot, let's call it, hasn't been decided yet.
Yeah.
Although it's pretty close, right? So USA have to turn around 135-point deficit to Australia after that draw last week. By the way, that draw cost me a 29-1 accumulator. They just held on to the damn lead. But anyway, great performance, great match. There was some great rugby last week in the Women's Rugby World Cup. But USA have to turn. So what they've got to do, they've got to beat Samoa by 80-90. They've just got to do that if they want to have a chance. Yeah. And hope England can beat Australia by 30-40, which is quite possible. And also stop Australia from scoring 4 tries, which is also quite possible. So they're not quite as dead as they look. But
okay, so let's look at that, Brent. What is USA's price to qualify? Because that's probably the bet to take here.
I haven't seen the qualification price, and I haven't even looked at they're probably some huge price. I could actually look I'm not going to bring it up on the screen.
No, but I'm thinking that's as soon as you've told me what you've told me, for me, the bet here is USA to qualify because they're the ones that, again, have it in their hands. They have most of it in their hands. The handicap of minus 46, England and Australia, you've got to expect that to be reasonably close to that. 2 top sides or 2 composed sides, should I say, no loose cannons there. So yes, if you can expect England to win by 40, you said they need to win by 80, 90. Sure, they'll go for it. I think the USA to qualify is the bet to take.
Yeah, you'd have to probably. I'm not saying you won't get that because
No, it's tough for these smaller category tournaments.
I tend to agree, but anyway, I think the minus. I went 56.5. I caught a bit of that. I think 57. Anyway, up into the early 60s. I'm on the USA. Yeah, I think they get the job done against what is really a very poor Samoan team. Next game, this is a dead rubber, but this obviously there is something up for grabs because the loser comes last and the winner comes third. We've got Wales up against Fiji. There has been money here, Gavin. I actually like Fiji, but I didn't get on them. But there was plus 9.5 Fiji early in the week. That's coming to 5.5. And we've got a points line here of 48.5. I haven't checked at the weather for this game, but based on that line, I'm thinking there must be some bad weather about, because if not, in the way Fiji play, I would think we're going to get points here. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yes, I would go for Fiji here. I'm surprised they're not favourites, especially after their game last week. That could be a lot of bad Scotland and good Fiji, or it could just be good Fiji and okay Scotland. But yeah, Fiji looks the value to me.
Just trying my wife's glasses on because my eyes have been. I left my glasses downstairs, and I had to choose between getting my glasses and getting my beer, and I chose the beer. Right, Fiji. I also fancy them a little bit there. Then this is an interesting one because this game will obviously be played after the USA Samoa game, so Australia will know exactly what they have to do. They might just have to come within 60 points, or they might need a bonus point, or whatever the story is. They will know what they got to do. You got minus 46.5 England, and a points line here of 68.5. I mean, that's a massive handicap, given that Australia are a top eight team.
Yeah. I know. I'm surprised. It does feel a little bit big, but I haven't watched much of Australia and England for that matter. I actually haven't watched much of these two teams playing, so I don't know what to do there. I don't know. I'm not prepared to answer firmly. I'm definitely not putting money on it at this point.
And it's interesting you say that, because I've watched a lot of England and I've watched a lot of Australia, and I also don't know what to do there because, it is a tricky. At the end of the day, both sides are through, but obviously they'll go on top. But as somehow or other, I managed to get my wife's chair on top of my toe. I did well not to scream out in pain there. And that's a tough game. If anything, I'd be leaning Australia on the plus. I think England's pack a lot stronger, but I do like Australia's backline. They play pretty well. But let's move on to Sunday's games. This is similar to the Wales-Fiji game. This is for third and fourth spot. We got Japan up against Spain, minus 3.5, the Japanese, and a points line of 51.5. I'd have to say that I quite fancy the Spain to cause a little mini upset here.
Yeah, well, it's not really a mini upset at plus 3.5, but I did watch a little bit of the Spanish, and happy with Spain plus.
Excellent. Bitsy coming in and saying we're on at a decent time. I guess, Bitsy, you're in New Zealand, if I recall correctly. So what's it probably? Is it New Zealand? I might be getting that wrong. It must be close to midnight there if it is.
He's on his lunch. He's on his lunch break in the western side of Ireland, probably.
Probably could be. Why did I have the feeling he was in New Zealand? He'll let us know now, I'm sure. He's in Australia. Okay, so what's it, about 10, 11 at night there, depending where you are in Australia, I suppose. Southport just confirming Australian women's backline is good. And Farid is saying all over the Japanese, never say die. So Farid, I mean, even your comment alone is enough to make me think about that game. It's not something I'm particularly strong on.
Yeah, please listen. This is small stuff. This is quarter unit stuff for me. I'm not going anywhere near big numbers here.
I'm not going to call them the disappointment, because I thought they would struggle in this tournament. But Brazil have been pretty awful. They finally got a try to actually bring them pretty close to the handicap against France. But they play Italy here. Now, Italy, of course, are out thanks to their loss to South Africa. 60.5 against Brazil.
Too many.
You've got to look at your mindset here, because, I mean, Italy, they wanted to make the quarters. They're not going to make the quarters. Are they really going to be up for this, Gav?
No, I'm a Brazilian plus punter here. I think this is too big. I think it's 20 points too big. I don't think Brazil have learned something in this tournament. Brazil will improve. They won't get worse. They will play their best. This is going to be their best game. I say they lose by 40, maybe 45, not 60.
Right. I'm not so convinced about this Brazil side. I do hear you. They pushed. I would go probably for the plus. It's interesting though.
I know those Italian women are devastated. I think they're devastated after losing to us. That was a massive loss.
I've got a bet. I'm not going to click on it to check the exact line, but Brazil points 72.5. Brazil points must be like 6.5. They scored a try against France. You've got to think that Italy are going to be a little bit less intense on defense, given they're out. What about Brazil overs? Can I tempt you on that?
I agree with you.
Right, let's move on.
I say they'll get over. You think they aren't? I'm a Brazilian punter in this game.
Yeah, no, that's what I like the Brazilian overs. I'm not sure of the handicap, but I do like the overs there.
Listen, there's a big difference, Brent. Sorry, there's a big difference between 7.5 and 6.5 in a bet like this.
Oh, massive difference.
I mean, so don't if you're going into 7.5, you've got to think about it. 6.5, I'm saying press the button.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. In fact, while we're talking about the next game, I am going to go in and have a look at exactly what that line is. But let's bring the next game up. It's also a top of the table clash. It's New Zealand minus 28.5, same line as Canada, up against Ireland with a points line of 54.5.
Yeah, New Zealand minus. I can't believe I'm saying that at 28. It feels wrong, but it is the right way to go.
Okay, and my luck, yeah, there's no points line up on this game there on the bookie that I'm on now.
54.
Yeah, no, that's on PokerBet. That's a slide that I took just before, so I'm going to go onto their site now. But Bet Exchange didn't have a points line there when I went on now, so I'm going to go look at what Brazil points are, because I agree with you. The difference between 6.5 and 7.5 is absolutely massive.
Same in sevens.
The difference between minus 62.5 and minus 61.5 is not a lot, or over 48.5 or 49.5. But the difference in there, because it's a question of scoring once or twice, most likely. Let me just quickly. I just want to quickly get
and
that.
The same applies to Brent. The same applies to 2.5 and 3.5 when it comes to when there's a handicap of 90. I mean, the team might get a penalty.
Yes.
They might not, but taking minus 3.5 is crazy compared to taking minus 2.5. Sorry, over 2.5 and over 3.5.
Well, we're going to have to wait. I must say that the pricing of these Women's World Cup games, sometimes there's lots of market, sometimes there isn't. It's been a bit frustrating as a punter in that sense. But
I'm not surprised. I don't know. This is hard for the bookmakers. This is hell of a hard for them.
No, it is hard. I'm not necessarily having a go at them there at all. I'm just saying it's been a bit frustrating. One game you're getting overs on points on the team, and the next one you're not. Southpaw says New Zealand tries overs as well. I'm looking once you have some lines out here. Fareed is all over New Zealand. And Bitsy says he's late, but no problem. Bitsy will let you have your say on the Canada game there. He says Canada might put up the 52.5 by themselves. Talk me off the bet. Well, Gavin,
I'm not told you I like the 52 as a minus, correct?
So Bitsy, just to quickly update you, when Gavin looked at the slide, he thought the 52.5 was the handicap, and he started.
And I was still a minus punter.
So you got no need to convince him on that. Southpaw reckons there are signs New Zealand is starting to click. That takes us to the last game. Gavin's already shared this with us. So, Gav, I'm going to tell you that Southpaw made a post on the forum about an hour and a half ago, I would say, when the South African team come out. He said, take the minus 21.5 France. It's not going to last. I did that and put it on the blog as well, and I took some as well. And we got this lines out to minus 24.5, and that's because South Africa have named very much. I mean, there's still some regulars in there, but South Africa have named a pretty different side, because obviously for them, their focus is now going to be on the quarterfinal. Are you still stuck on your South Africa plus 24.5, or are we swaying you?
Yeah, no, I'm on South Africa. Yeah, I think the euphoria from last week, and I think any new players coming into this game have felt it in the camp for the week. I think we're just not a team that plays, half-hearted. If we don't have much motivation from that perspective, neither do France. France don't care. France just want to win this game. They're not thinking about minus 24. They just want to win the game. And as I said, they will win the game. South Africa's not going to win this game. I just think it'll be a little bit closer. I think the euphoria in camp. I mean, that was a massive win for South Africa last week. That was huge. That was very big. No other match here was out of the ordinary where there was any surprise. The Italians are devastated, and we're over the moon. So there's your range. Italy is feeling the worst out of the 16 teams, and South Africa is feeling the best. And I just think they'll take that momentum into this game. I think it's going to be difficult for them to get thumped by 35 anyway. I don't know. I like South Africa. Yeah, I liked what I saw last week, and I like it. Again, small bet, small. These are coins. If a big bet's a 50 Rand note, these are coin bets. These are 5 and 2 Rand coin bets in that example. It's like a tenth of what you normally put on a game. You can't put big money on this.
Yeah, I must say I've been tipping pretty well and betting quite well in the Women's Rugby World Cup, but definitely my stake size is smaller. I am increasing it a bit this week on 1 or 2 games, but certainly not going to get too carried away. Gav, that brings us then to the end. What you got planned then for the weekend, the rest of the weekend? Any other sport stand out for you?
I'm going to watch that third game with South Africa, and I'm involved in Djokovic later. I like Djokovic.
He's semi-final, right?
He's 3-1. Yeah, he's 3-1 to win the game, and I think again it's a lot of value, and it might people might look at me as being an old punter and thinking like, what's this like doing? He's backing somebody that's been around for 20 years. He's after this record. He wants to get 25 or 26 or whatever it is before he retires. I think the price is big. It's a price bet. 3-1 about Djokovic in a semi-final and a Grand Slam. I'm interested. Simple. But I'm involved in that. I'm going to watch South Africa. I think South Africa win that third game as well. I think it. Okay. Even though we I didn't think 330 was enough. Actually, I was chatting to a guy at lunch today. I didn't think 330 was enough. We won the game, but I think we win the last one.
Right, 100%. Sorry, I can't even get the slide on my wife. This thing looks so different on my wife's computer. I can hardly navigate. So I'm probably going to take a while to end the show, but we can say cheers in the meantime. Thanks to all the boys in the live chat joining us on a Friday afternoon here in South Africa. There's a client wanting Gavin to
That's the fourth one, Brett. I've had 4 calls between 3 o'clock and 3:45 on a Friday afternoon. That's unbelievable.
Crazy. I've actually got a proposal to go right now. It's a quick one, but I've got to do that. That's why I had to push for the 2:45, which well done to you. You stuck to it. Johan overs games in tennis. That's I don't get too involved in the tennis betting. I see Farid had let's have a look at a couple of others. He would bet against Canada, too reliant on the good. Bitsy, it's a good betting sports weekend. I'm sort of working back up here. Did Mossman have any NPC shots, Blake? Unfortunately, he probably did, but we didn't even get a chance to chat about it.
We didn't ask him.
Yeah, I did message him this morning, but I thought, well, morning South African time. I think he was already asleep there in New Zealand. But thanks very much, guys.
Why don't you send him a message and ask him to put it into the comments?
Yeah, I could do. I think. Well, you can. I mean, I don't. If he wants to, he can come and put it in the comments. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, unfortunately, last night didn't work out with the MPC. And if we'd had the opportunity, I would have done an extra show with him anyway, just even on the MPC. But Gav, thanks very much, guys. And let me warn Gavin, you and I can carry on talking. I'm going to try and stop the show now, but I'm actually the button's hidden on the screen here, so I can't find it. I'm really having a week, and also, guys, I'll say goodbye, but you're welcome to carry on and listen to Gavin and I talk nonsense. I will finish off with the treble there for Jan Estes and Australia, Argentina over 55.5. I like that as well. Sharks, Pumas under 59.5. I would also go under if pushed there on that game if it wasn't on the Pumas. And the SA women plus 25.5. You got someone rather stamping you there, Oracle. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week, Thursday night, with me on a different machine, that's for sure, for the handicap rugby chat that matters. Thank you, everyone. And now with Gavin, you can say your final words, Gavin. I'm trying to find out how to.
I was just going to say, for me, the best bet for me is South Africa to win on the board. And it's funny because I've called quite a few over even money punts here. So Pumas, Cheetahs, South Africa, Boland, Argentina. That's 5 bets. Yeah. Yes. And the only other one was a minus. I just need to get 3 of them to make money. In fact, I probably just need to get 2 of them to make money. So, yeah, I like South Africa. And if you enjoy tennis, the roller coaster of tennis, the roller coaster of hell, if you bet on tennis, because it is a roller coaster, I definitely like that 3-1 Djokovic. So I'm having a bet there.
Having a bet on that one. Okay, I finally found the end stream button. So let me cut the stream in the meantime. And Gav Shot, I better go do